Hey everybody, here is a totally unplanned video. I was out running errands and I became very hungry and I wanted an all-you-can-eat buffet. I remembered an off-strip location for a buffet that I used to go to. I haven't even thought of this place because of COVID. This place is called Crazy Buffet. My favorite thing about buffets is not just the all-you-can-eat but the variety. You can have a number of different dishes at this place. So here are chicken wings, grilled chicken on a stick, on a skewer. These are really good as well. I'm going to give you a quick tour of what they have here. These are buns filled with pork or vegetables, egg rolls. This is a Chinese buffet, but they have so many things here. This is the hot and sour soup and a couple of other soups, including egg drop and wonton soup. And pizza. So yeah, this isn't a pizza place, this is a Chinese buffet. But I'm glad they have pizza because I felt like pizza a little bit. These are cream cheese wontons, or better known as crab rangoons, fried plantains, and they have your classic Chinese dishes such as the lo mein, fried rice and white rice, and French fries. And these French fries are pretty decent, and I felt like French fries as well. So once again, the versatility, the variety of a buffet is what I really like, because I don't know what I'm in the mood for sometimes. And you might recognize some of the items such as the General Tso's chicken, but they have some specialty items here as well, like pork and jalapenos, sauteed mushrooms with pork, and then some kind of a beef, and your just plain old green beans or string beans, some kind of a shrimp and vegetable stir fry. They have a lot of good looking items here. I used to come here before COVID because they usually had pretty good food. I read the reviews on Yelp and they are mixed reviews. Some people liked the food here, some people didn't like it as much. But I thought it was pretty good. They even had steamed fish. This place does get pretty crowded and sometimes they run out of food, but they're pretty good about filling the food up. When they bring out the new dishes, they're pretty full, but they do go really fast as this place is always pretty busy. The clams, the shrimp, and the crab. This guy to the right of me probably took about 12 pieces of crab. Finally moved. So this is a type of a fried crab in seasoning. I find it a little difficult to eat. I still don't know a really good way to eat it. However, if you like crab, this is a really good dish. They also had boiled crab, but they were pretty small. And it seemed like more work than it was worth. These meatballs are really popular too. I remember I ordered a tray of these meatballs because they were so good. And then your mayo shrimp. They had a number of seafood items. And this was a surprise. I found that they had a seafood boil, crawfish, mussels, shrimp, and corn. I don't remember them having this dish, or maybe it's just been a really long time. I knew it wasn't going to be like a hot and juicy crawfish or one of those really quality seafood boils at a buffet and being a buffet. But I love seafood boils, so I was going to give it a go. They also have your fresh items. They had shrimp for your shrimp cocktail. These shrimp were not very big. They are pretty small, but they seemed pretty fresh, and they had lemon and cocktail sauce. They had ceviche, imitation crab salad. Now here's an exotic item. This is a baby octopus. I think it's a baby octopus. Had tentacles. I think this is some kind of a baby octopus salad for you who love seafood. They had cucumbers and tomatoes. And then your classic salad. So they have all kinds of salads here to go with your hot entrees. They also had sushi. My personal experience with sushi at buffets is that they're usually not up to par. Usually the quality isn't that good. However, if you like rolls and stick to rolls that don't have raw items, you might be okay. But I just kind of stay away from sushi at buffets because they're usually mass produced. And therefore, I don't know about the quality. I have tried a few items. They weren't really good. And I do stay away from the raw items at buffets like this. They don't have a large amount of desserts, but they do have a dessert section so that you can have dessert after your dinner. These are little apple thingies. These little apple thingies are kind of like apple pie. I remember I used to get these and top it with the vanilla ice cream from the ice cream machine, and it was like apple pie a la mode. They had some things that looked like brownies, some cookies, and these miniature eclairs. These were also pretty good. And they have your self-serve soft ice cream, vanilla, chocolate, and I believe a swirl, the switch in the middle. They have ice cream cones, so you can make an ice cream cone on your way out, or you can use a bowl. I started my meal with 2 soups. This is their wonton soup. It was filled with pork. It's some kind of a pork wonton, and it was okay. I thought it was a little bit bland. I had to go to the soy sauce to enhance it. I also tried out their hot and sour soup. Had a little bit of spice, it wasn't overly spicy. Had some scallions, some eggs, and some woodier mushrooms. It was okay. For the first round, I got 3 plates of food. I got the seafood boil, I got some salad, and I got a few items that just caught my eye. And that's what I love about buffets, is that whatever you feel like, you can get a variety of different foods. And they just brought out a pizza, and the fries look good, and the cream cheese wontons. I drizzle a little bit of sweet and sour sauce over the top of the cream cheese wontons. The pizza wasn't something you'd find in a pizza shop. It was more like microwave pizza. The cream cheese wontons were good with the sweet and sour sauce, and the fries were good as well. The size of the shrimp was a bit disappointing, but with the lemon and the cocktail sauce, it still provided a light, fresh shrimp cocktail. The imitation crab salad was just okay, had broccoli. The cucumber and tomatoes were served with a light vinaigrette or some type of Italian dressing. I wasn't expecting much from the seafood boil, but they had crawfish that were pretty decent. The spice was pretty okay. Now, it's not like your hot and juicy, and it's not like a Louisiana Cajun boil. They have their own spice. It's a little bit mild for me, but the crawfish were okay. They weren't entirely large, they weren't really small, they were just your average crawfish. With the shrimp, head on, it was a bit of work to peel it and eat it. The corn was a little bit overcooked, so it was what I expected. This is what I got for my next round. The beef was okay. It had a little bit of gravy or some type of a sauce. I paired it with the sauteed mushrooms. The beef wasn't spectacular, but it delivered. It was beef and mushrooms. So once again, this isn't a gourmet 5-star restaurant. This is a buffet that does offer some variety. The shrimp with the celery and zucchini was pretty decent too. For me, I didn't have unrealistic expectations of this place, so I think it helped me have a better experience here. I knew what I was going to get, and the food was exactly what I expected. The wings were actually pretty good. They're fairly large. You know what's more scarier than a pandemic? Is a world without chicken wings. These chicken wings were pretty good. At the beginning of the meal, I was expecting to eat a lot more items. But you know how buffets are, you get too full and there's no way you can try everything. So I moved on to dessert. And for dessert, I only got a little bit of fruit. I didn't really get to try all the eclairs and the little apple thingies. I got some candied banana, cantaloupes, pineapple, honeydew melon, this block of jello just because it was red and it looked good, and the watermelon. And so this buffet, because of the variety, I like it because I can try a number of different items, whatever I'm in the mood for. And it's not bad for the price. It was under $20. This was the bill for my dinner price on a Sunday. If you plan on eating here, call the restaurant so you get the latest and most updated prices. So that's it for my trip to Crazy Buffet. Didn't eat as much as I wanted, but the variety made it worthwhile. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.